I had just graduated high school. Towards the beginning of summer, I got sick. I wasn't feeling well. Had to go to the hospital. I had a little bit of the flu. So I was home for a couple weeks. My friend, who was a friend of mine in high school, had called me and asked me if I would like to go up to the mountains. Her parents had a cabin up there. And I told her, sure, that sounds good. I'd love to go. She was a friend that you have your friends who are your really good buddies, who are really close to you, and you could trust them with anything. And then you have those friends that are a little bit on the shady side, a little bit dramatic. And well, she was the one that was a little dramatic and on the shady side. But I was invited to go to other parties, a couple of the parties that we used to go to and such, but I decided to go to the mountains with her because it seemed more laid back and I really wasn't feeling 100% yet, so I decided to go with her up to the mountains, to the cabin. I like to explore and hike and all that kind of stuff, so that sounded more appealing to me, even though she wasn't really one of my best friends. I decided to go, and I told my mom I'm gonna go up to the mountains, and she said, oh, you shouldn't go, you're still not feeling all that great. And I go, I feel pretty good, I'm over my flu or whatever it was I had, and I just want to get out. I wanted to get out, I wanted to be in the sun. So Friday came around and she picked me up with her boyfriend. Her boyfriend was driving, her new boyfriend, and he was very quiet. He didn't even say hello. I thought that was a little weird, but oh well, So I got in the car and she said, you ready to go? And I said, yeah, I'm ready to go. So we went on our way, and we were driving down Colima Road. It's in Hacienda Heights, Rowland Heights area, Diamond Bar. And we were driving along and he kept looking at me and kind of with a smirk, and I was thinking, man, what's wrong with this guy? And I noticed she kept looking at him, and occasionally I'd see her nudge him, and it was very quiet, very awkward. I felt very uncomfortable, and we came to a light, and it was near the La Puente Hills Mall on Colima. And as we were approaching the light, he looked at me and he says, you're gonna be sorry. It shocked me. I looked at him, I said, why? And he goes, he just shook his head at first, and then we came completely to a stop, and it was a very busy intersection. It was a Friday night, everybody was going places, and it was packed. And he looked at me and he said, I'm gonna kill you. The whole time my friend was sitting in the center, and she wouldn't even look at me. She just sat staring straight off into the distance, and he was just glaring at me. The light turned green. I opened the car door and I got out. I took off in the opposite direction. On my way back home, going in through the neighborhood, I had to walk down Colima quite a ways to get to my street. My street was a very long street. I would duck in behind hedges. Every time I see car lights come down the road, I would duck in, It took me about an hour to get home, and I finally got home, and my mom was there listening to the radio. And she got up and she said, what's going on? Why are you back so soon? She goes, what happened? And I told her what happened. And she said, I told you shouldn't go. I just had a feeling something was going to happen. A year had passed, and I needed to look for work. I found a job at a hospital for mentally disabled children. At the time, my cousin was also looking for work, so she got a job there as well. We worked together. We had a good time. We got every other weekend off. We would go to the beach, hang out, lay out. One weekend, we decided to go to the river. So we got ready to go. It was Friday night, early Saturday morning, I should say, and we were on our way. When we arrived, we didn't like to sit where all the people were concentrated at. We always liked to travel down a ways to get to a spot where there was hardly any people and enjoy the scenery. We got to our location and laid out on the rock that we like to lay on, and people were sporadically going down river on their inner tubes or rafts. And we had noticed two guys. One had his inner tube was flat, hanging onto the other guy's tube. As we watched, they seen us and were making their way to where we were at, up on the rock. And they got to where we were, so we decided to help them up, which we did. My cousin grabbed one guy's hand and pulled him up. I grabbed the other guy's hand and pulled him up. And after I had pulled him up off of the ground, he looked at me and I recognized him. I said, I know you. And he looked at me, and all of a sudden he had this very shocked look on his face. I said, I know who you are. And he just said, I'm really sorry about that. I didn't mean it. I was just angry. And his brother, which was the other guy, it happened to be his brother, said, what did you do? He just looked at him. He didn't reply. So I said, he threatened to kill me. His brother said, are you serious? You said that? It's a joke, right? I said, no, he was serious. The other guy, his brother, looked at me and said, I'm so sorry, I didn't know anything about this. Well, we just stood there with an uncomfortable silence, and the other guy, his brother, said, well, I'm truly sorry what happened. I didn't know my brother had done anything like that. I said, well, it's not your fault. And the guy that threatened me told me, for what it's worth, I'm truly sorry, and I want to thank you for, helping us out. I didn't say anything. I just stood there, and they walked away. So me and my cousin went back to laying out. She asked me, what happened? And I told her. We just sat there drinking our beer. The day went by. It was rather nice. You really don't know who your friends are. Stay safe, people.